Hello, I'm Andre and this is Osteo Knits. This is my little corner of YouTube where I talk about knitting, spinning, fiber, whatever other nonsense. Hi, welcome. This is probably going to be a shorter one. I say that, but let's see how much I end up rambling. It is a beautiful day in May. Quite a contrast from the previous episode where it had just snowed. There is beautiful green grass stuff growing. It actually feels like spring. It is amazing. I love it. Okay, and I am a tiny bit congested. Along with the green stuff also comes pollen, and I am severely allergic. So I've been congested for about a week. I've even gone to see a doctor and I've got prescription meds and whatnot, but at least I'm not sneezing. Okay. The past month has been crazy. No surprise there, but there has been a bit of making, so that's good. Perhaps I will start with what I finished in terms of both knitting and spinning. There's not a ton of knitting. I have finished my other sample for the frosted stitch. This is the Dragon Tails Cowl by Mary Hunt. The background color, which you can see has these little delightful red spots and sort of bluish spots. This is lithium, and the darker color is black pepper, both from the frosted stitch. This is a sample she'll be bringing along with her to shows over the summer. I very much enjoy the Mary Hunt cowls. I have now made 3 of them. Yeah, it feels like more. I've done the Kraken one, I've done the Fossil Frenzy, and this one. It's quite complex color work. Some of them you do have very long floats. So if that is something that's intimidating to you, perhaps get a little more comfortable with that technique before taking on one of her wild designs. I personally am a big fan of the ladder back jacquard technique. So it's similar to double knitting, where you create an extra column that goes along inside and kind of catches those floats. I like that it gives this really neat appearance on the inside, and I personally tend to be more of a tight knitter, so I do struggle with how tight my floats are. This keeps me on track. And again, it's excellent for long floats. I do have to say, for a colorwork design, Mary Hunt is great for having nice, clear charts. She usually offers her charts in both like contrast colors, so whichever one makes the most sense to your brain, you can choose that. And she has like darker lines every 5 rows, so it makes it much easier to keep track. There's like a faux cable at the top and bottom in the ribbing, which I really appreciate. So this will be going off to Krista next time I see her. That is all I have for finished knits. But there's been a lot of spinning. I've already shown the 2 installments of my Akira Rose camel, alpaca, merino, silk spins. As a recap, these are my first 2. So largely coming out of the Akira Rose Solstice fiber box from 2024. I have 2 editions, and that is it from this box. So actually, this is the last one from the fiber box. 1 ply is the remaining minis from the box. The other is a braid from a Care Rose on the same base called Lakefront. So this has these nice teal colors, a little bit of coppery orange, some yellow. So all of three of these, at least in one way, shape, or form, comes from that Care Rose fiber box. These two have extra braids added in. And I do have a fourth skein of yarn that is spun using the same base. So here it is. This is using just one braid. The braid is in the colorway Rose Bushes, and I just plied it on itself. So these are all kind of a sport weight. I initially thought that these might make a good shift shawl, but now I'm not so sure about the contrast. Perhaps I'm leaning more towards like a traveler shawl. Yeah, I explored the possibility of a garment, but I think these will be more appropriate as a shawl because they're going to have amazing drape. Anyways, I'm going to have to workshop that a little bit and come to a decision. Meanwhile, I'm just going to continue stockpiling my handspun. As a bit of a little palette cleanser after finishing those spins, I did another one using a mystery fiber from the Chaotic Fibers mystery box. This was a blended fiber. There's probably some silk in there in these like pink and purple hues. I decided to try out spinning from the fold on my e-spinner and then chain plying it. Both of these for the first time on the e-spinner. And this is what it gave me. It was like 20 something grams of fiber. And in the end, I got, I think it was about 35 yards. But I'm pretty pleased with myself. Like, I find chain ply to be really challenging. And I think this turned out pretty darn even. Like, yeah. It's not a ton, but it should make a really fun stripe on something. I love the colors. It's quite a contrast from the more kind of muted tones with that camel, but yeah. I of course have 4 other spins going on. Not all of these spinning tools I have, but really fun thing that I've started spinning on my e-spinner is fiber from the Frosted Stitch, dyed in her colorway Silence of the Lambs. Okay, so that's everything I finished. Last month, I was working on my oldest whips, and those were my Sharks Say socks. I finished 1 sock. So here it is. There's that delightful. We've got a theme here with mock cabling on rib. I did not sew in my ends, and I left a big loop so that I can sew that in properly. Anyways, not an issue. Cute little slip stitch, traveling stitch design. We've got an interesting, it's almost like a partridge heel on the bottom of the foot. So that'll probably give some nice cushioning, make it quite sturdy, but a different construction from what I've done previously. I think I mentioned this is a Kate Poe design. Kate Poe always has the most unique and interesting designs. They're a regular designing for Super Scary Socks, which is what this design is from. No point in mentioning the dyer because honestly, they don't dye yarn anymore, you can't get this. Sorry. The other thing I was working on was my Osteo cardigan. And so I challenged myself to finish the cowl, finish the one sock, and finish the sleeve on my Osteo. I've done all 3 of those, so I'm pretty proud of myself. For once, I've actually given myself reasonable goals. So here is the Osteo. We have a sleeve. Now last month when I said I had 3 stripes left, I was wrong. I had 6 stripes left. So I have done 6 additional stripes to when you last saw this. And I even started the second sleeve. Look at me go. And since I picked it up, I've done 4 stripes. So I have 12 stripes left on the sleeve. Now, since I'm actually really excited for having finished the sleeve, I've decided for this month I want to keep the momentum going, keep working on this. I am not deluded enough to think that I'm actually going to finish the sleeve this month, but hey, we'll see. So for the month of May, I want to focus on garments. One, I don't think I'm going to be going out anywhere or doing anything interesting, so I don't necessarily need portable items. I'm hoping May will be kind of a more restful month. So I'm going to keep working on this. Maybe I'll start sewing in some ends. Yeah. But yes, I'm really pleased with myself that I've continued. I really don't want to set the sweater on the back burner again and just forget it. So yeah, let's keep the momentum going and keep working on the second sleeve. I always find the second sleeve goes faster anyways. And the other garment that I have on the needles is my green and purple sea glass by Woolen Pine. I think I'm like 1 row away from separating for the sleeves. Let's try not to muffle my microphone. But yeah, not a ton of progress done on this one because I'd forgotten it at my dad's house and just picked it back up. So yes, the sea glass is not a very difficult project to work on. It is 1x1 color work. I only change 1 color every row. So it's not it's not brainless stockinette, but it's also not a complex, intricate design. So yes, my focus this month is going to be on this and the Osteo. I don't have really set goals as to what I want to reach on them. I just want to keep working on them. This is sort of the problem in that I enjoy the gratification of having a small project finished, but I end up neglecting these bigger ones. And eventually, these need to get done. So not too much to show there. I do have, and I'm due to show a picture of this on Instagram actually, my book hexie blanket thing. Oh, that's where that is. Oh, okay. Oh yes, because I was swinging ends. Okay, okay. Forgive this conversation to myself. All right. So here's the good side. I have added 2 hexies to it. This one is from the book All That Is Wicked. So this one with the neon here. So that was the nonfiction about Edward Roloff, one of the earliest serial killers in the United States. And this is representing the last of the Canada Reads books, the one that ended up winning the competition. So this was the Two-Spirit Journey by Minnie Chakaby. It was, okay, I'm going to say it was a really interesting perspective. It's certainly a unique perspective. I think some of the readability is lost partly because of how the book came to be. Due to Minnie's vision impairment, they weren't able to write the book themselves in a traditional sense. It was put together more through interviews. And I feel like the readability of it is kind of choppy. So largely for that reason, and because it sort of seemed like just a spewing of facts. Like, I don't want to be overly critical of it. I did enjoy the book, but just not as much as Dandelion. Maybe I'm biased because Dandelion was my favorite. Anyways, still an enjoyable read. I always enjoy the Canada Read finalists. But that's what this hexie represents. I'm one away from getting a little hexie flower. And I've even been somewhat responsible and started sewing in some ends. That's why my little pouch was in there. This has like scissors and tapestry needles and whatnot. Yeah. So again, this is all totally scrappy, just using whatever colors I pull out from the book covers and can get a close approximation within my own stash. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. Okay, and that is all for things I'm working on and makes. I do have a bit of acquisitions. Now, of course, we've got the monthly installment of Mr. Stitch's Expedition from the Frosted Stitch. This month is Bigfoot. It's a very earthy brown-green, very Pacific Northwest. And the stitch marker is, there we go, a big footprint. So many greens so far, which I am just loving in this collection. Oh yes, I do know what June is. Okay. I'm excited for June. Okay. I'm not gonna spoil anything. So I believe this is still available for order. There are other stitch markers that are available, just that you have to order separately, but this came with the subscription and with the skein of yarn. Other thing, my dad recently went on a cruise around South America, and it included a stop in the Falkland Islands. And when I knew he was going to the Falkland Islands, a place that has somewhat of a reputation for the wool industry, I asked my dad, if there's a souvenir that you'd like to get for your daughter, yarn would be a good idea. And yes, he got some Falkland Islands yarn. It is a DK weight yarn. This is in the color grape. I do have 2 skeins of it, but somehow only brought one. It's a little more fuchsia than I would expect grape to be, but still a lovely skein of yarn. And with two, I can certainly use this easily in all kinds of projects. And finally, from the Flu Fibers Spooky Yarn Club, this one I had to get. This month's theme, or I guess it was previous month's theme, was Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows. And this is what Lucy's cooked up for Laszlo. I am so happy about this one. I love a teal purple combo. You will see this combo with me a lot, and I'm certainly drawn to these sort of colors, but also knowing that there was a Nadja and Laszlo in Lucy's Spooky Fiber Club, I really wanted to pair these together, and the Nadja color is this nice tone, well, not quite tonal, but it's in shades of purples, and I think it's going to pair up beautifully for this. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being some sort of shawl. I feel like that would be really appropriate. Or maybe I should do some sort of cape. Anyways, they need to go together. It's just right. Nadja and Laszlo have to go together. But yes, that is basically all of the yarny content I have for you. We talked about the books I've finished with my squares. I'm still working on the Tituba book. And what have I started? I have started a reread, which is really, really rare for me. I've started rereading Renee Adia's The Wrath and the Dawn. Yes. So I had previously read the book about 10 years ago and then didn't read the sequel. And recently I picked up the sequel. And I thought, oh, do I need to reread the first book? And I thought, yeah, I probably should. And I remember it being a really enjoyable read. I remember bits and pieces of it. So I'm hoping it'll be a fun read to get through. Yeah. Beyond that, I have submitted my final grades, so that is great. Currently working on a manuscript with currently a master's student, so that hopefully we can get that published. I'm working on getting some master's projects together and just sort of set things up that got set on the wayside during the term. Yeah. My cat is doing very well. She's her normal little strange cat self, and I'm just so happy with how well she's going right now. Her shaved belly is mostly filled in. My mom is still going strong with her treatments. It has been a challenging couple of weeks, but it's going to be a journey, like I said, like I'm very aware of, and just have to keep going. I'm planning a little trip over the weekend, just a day trip to Perry Sound. I don't know if I'll find my way over to the fiber mill, but that is a possibility. I have been doing a bit of a spring clean of my stash lately, mostly kind of pulling things out, reorganizing. So I've organized all of my fingering weight scraps into color grouped bags. So like I have my oranges, yellows, reds together, my blues and greens together, my purples together, my neutrals together, etc. So hopefully that'll make finding specific colors a little bit easier. It's also protection from moss, so that's great. And I've just been kind of sorting through things, rediscovering stuff, airing it out as well, because there's not a ton of ventilation in the room where I do have my yarn. I have a cedar chest that my mom found me on Facebook Marketplace, and my dad is currently staining. So I'm planning on putting my sweater quantities of yarn in there. So that'll give me a little bit more space to kind of move stuff around in my yarn organization. But it's always fun to kind of revisit things and see like, oh yeah, this was hiding. And it really makes me want to get to enjoy my stash and play around with what I've got. Like, I bought so many of these things with a specific intention, or maybe no intention, and just because I love the look of the skein, and I've not fallen out of love with anything that I've got yet. So if there is, I'm happy to give that on to another home or somebody else that will enjoy it. But God damn it, I need to enjoy the stuff I've got. Okay, I think that's about it. I'm gonna sign off and head out to that barbecue soon. And I hope everybody is having a lovely day, that the month of May treats you great. And I will see you again in June. Take care.